There, so good luck to your family. Now, coming up tonight, round one of the World Rally Champs, the first showdown between Subaru and Mitsubishi in Monte Carlo. That's as we count down to the Smoke-Free Rally of New Zealand coming up in August. But first up tonight, the Street Schools New Zealand Rally Championship is underway, from the chill of the deep south, along the east coast to the winterless north, and first to the sunny event in Marlborough. Blenheim, New Zealand's sunniest city, home of some of the finest vineyards in the southern hemisphere. It's here in this tranquil landscape that we've come for the annual Pizza Hut Rally of Marlborough, round one of the 1997 Street Schools New Zealand Rally Championship. This rally is a second division round and serves as a prelude to the season. Drivers can score half points on these rallies and can only score points in one Division 2 rally. This rally is for South Island drivers, while round two, held in Gisborne 1 week later, is intended for North Island drivers.
Marlborough's traditionally quite fast in places, but there's the odd gnarly piece. But on whole, the roads are quite fast and smooth and not too hard on the car.
The rally started with 3 stages on Friday night, followed by 8 stages in daylight on Saturday. Leading the fight for championship points was Canterbury driver John Silcock and his Mazda GTR.
It's a Mazda 323 GTR with a 6-speed X-Track transmission. It's the same specifications as Neil Walport's old car, so it's a pretty good car.
Peter Day had high hopes of scoring points in the Street Schools Challenge.
Well, Peter, looking at the entry list for the first few rallies of the season, you seem to be doing all of them.
We are this year, Dave. Yeah, we're doing the whole lot, and plus a few more extra as well, because we want to go for the Street Skills Challenge this year. That's our focus, so we want to win that this year.
Formula 2 in the mainland is dominated by Dean Buist in his Toyota Corolla.
We'd like to win the F2 in the National Championship. We won at 94. Last couple of years we haven't, and it's always good fun to drive the Corolla. There's more cars this year, there's probably about 6 or 7 cars, where last year there was only sort of a couple of us, so that'll make it really good, separate the points a bit.
Following in Dean's tyre tracks is Alan Hooper, about 7 feet. He must be New Zealand's tallest rally driver.
Tell me, how did someone as tall as you end up in the smallest car in the field?
Oh, not really too sure. It's actually quite roomy inside.
Yes, he does manage to squeeze himself into the 1600cc Peugeot 106 rally car, based on the Peugeot race cars, which have been a feature of the New Zealand tracks for the past 2 years.
Why go for Formula 2?
Basically because it's the car we've got. It's a cheaper car to run than the four-wheel drive cars, and we're just out for a bit of fun and experience.
Gary Cliff took advantage of a dust-free run at the front of the rally to take an early lead. Silcock had to settle for second place as the dust hung in the night air, creating a visible hazard. Wayne Muckle, competing for points in the mainland series, misread the road in the dusty haze and lost about 10 seconds. But still, he held on for third place. Local driver Gavin Sendell was fourth, 1 minute 46 seconds down on Cliff. But Dean Buist was putting in an outstanding performance, lying 5th overall in his Corolla, just 7 seconds behind Sendell. Stage 2 claimed Ashton Wood, his Group A Escort Cosworth rolling off the road following brake failure.
The front wheel bearing collapsed, which caused the brake problems, which unsettled me very dramatically, and I'll just show you how it wiggles and give you some idea. That creates the brake pads to come out, and then when you put it down, the pedal goes right to the floor.
Saturday morning in Blenheim, and at least daylight would offer some improvement to the poor visibility. For rally leader Gary Cliff, it was just a matter of holding on to his lead and staying on the road.
We're going to try pretty hard in this next forest stage and see if we can stay with our minute lead against John, and then we've got quite a big gap back to the field, so if we come out of the next stage still with a minute lead, then we'll cruise a little bit.
Last night was so frustrating. We just dust hung in the trees, and where you should be going flat out was back to 50, 60 k's in places, just hung in the trees, so it wasn't a very happy night for me.
In fact, on stage 5 and 6, Cliff was able to extend his lead to 1 minute 13 seconds. Silcock was trying hard, but was suffering from the wrong tyre choice. Just listen to the wheel spin. Gavin Sendleton made good use of his local knowledge and had moved to 3rd place, 30 seconds behind Silcock. But the real charge was coming from Timaru driver Chris West. He'd moved from 10th to 4th in just 2 stages. Mike Turpis won stage 6. Here he was also on the charge after a disappointing performance on the night stages. Wayne Muckle was down 3 places to 6th after losing more time in stage 5, but fought back on stage 6 with the 3rd fastest time. Dave Owen was the only Group N competitor, but still drove hard to be 7th at this point. Wayne Julian was trying a little too hard at his Mitsubishi, but got through unscathed. Dean Buist led Formula 2, but had dropped nearly 30 seconds to his nearest rival over the first 2 morning stages. And that put Stu Warren just 6 seconds behind Buist at this point. 3rd placed Formula 2 driver Jason West struggled for grip here too, doing well, only losing 8 seconds to Buist on this stage. And Dermot Martin rounded off the championship cars, just keeping in the top 15. Now, while the drivers tackled the rally stages, their service crews set up service parks and wait for the cars. Servicing can be as simple as a tyre change, tightening a couple of nuts and bolts, to a major rebuild. The important thing is to be ready and quick. This is also a time for drivers to check their performance. For John Silcock, it's time to assess his tactics to hold 2nd place. He's being seriously challenged by Street Skills Scholarship contender Chris West.
Well, Chris, you put a blistering time into that stage. I mean, sort of making a mockery of some of these more powerful cars you're up against.
Well, yeah, I said this morning that I wanted to take a wee bit out of Dave and a few of the guys for the scholarship, but yeah, everything went well in there. It's definitely hard work, so it's all paid off.
Technical checks like this fuel sampling are now part of every rally. But for the drivers, the next challenge is the Tuamarina track, one of the fastest rally stages in New Zealand. Mike Turpis is the stage winner, but the effort destroys his gearbox and he's forced to retire. West is also sensational again, 2nd fastest on the stage. Silcock looks quick and is still holding 2nd place overall. And Muckle is pushing his 10-year-old Mitsubishi VR4 back into contention. Group N driver Dave Owen had moved into 6th overall here. And that was despite a moment early in the stage which gave him the chance to contemplate why he loves the sport and where he could have gone wrong.
What was that like in a Group N car, Dave?
It's pretty ugly. There's much damage.
What'd you do? Just talk us through it.
I just got wide on the left hand and tightened up. Seals slipperier than I thought. And just at the start there went wide, took out a fence, but managed to stay on the road. Yeah, pretty lucky.
As the Europeans know, the Formula 2 cars are fantastic on tarmac. And that's where the 4-wheel drive cars have less advantage. Buist is just 2 seconds in front of Stu Warren now. Jason West is also matching Buist's time in spectacular style. Ross Teasdale is the fastest rear-wheel drive car in the supercharged Toyota. While Chris Lancaster was moving up the field into 10th in his Mazda. But for sheer enjoyment, check out Gary Adcock in the TR7 V8. 2 stages to go. Only a disaster would prevent Gary Cliff and Jeff Judd from winning now. The veteran of more than 25 years of rallying had a 1 minute 10-second lead and looked invincible. Silcock had settled for 2nd place, but more important was his lead in the Street Schools New Zealand Championship. Wayne Muckle was trying hard to win back 3rd place. Here he was just 1 second slower than Chris West, who won the stage. It was a great drive by West. His Lancer has the less powerful 1800cc turbo engine. Dave Owen was also trying to catch West, both drivers vying for the Street Skills Scholarship to enter the smoke-free Rally of New Zealand. In the Formula 2 battle, Dean Buist finally pulled clear of his friend and rival, Stu Warren. Buist showing outstanding form, which will make him hard to beat in 1997. Now, Warren may have been beaten here, but he scored a works drive for Kia Motorsport in this month's Rally of China. Gary Adcock still had his hands full in the TR7, and check out the rooster tail of gravel. Oh, he gets it sideways. Gavin Sendell was also using all the road. An electrical fault had cost him time. He was now battling to get back into the top 20. So Cliff won the rally, but the lead in the New Zealand Championship went to Silcock as the first registered championship driver home. Wayne Muckle moved into 3rd place on the last stage when Chris West's engine started to fail. And he arrived at the finish control with oil pouring from under the bonnet.
What happened, mate? It's lost oil pressure. We need time. Let's get back to the car.
He was able to finish, but now would need a new engine. Yes, a disappointing finish to a great drive by Chris West. Now, remember, the Street Skills Scholarship is well worth the effort. The winner gets a fully sponsored entry into the Smoke-Free Rally of New Zealand worth $15,000. And 1 week after Blenheim, the North Island drivers got their chance to race around the dusty back roads of Gisborne. The rally should have been the debut of the new Group A Subaru Imprezas of Joe McAndrew and Greg Graham. But Graham damaged an engine on the way to the event, while McAndrew decided to hold off until he'd finalised a new sponsorship deal. But there were still plenty of top-class drivers getting it sideways. Once again, it's the Wine District which hosts the Street Skills Championship. Gisborne, New Zealand's most eastern city, hosted the Division 2 round for North Island drivers. The field included 3 new Evo 4 Mitsubishis, and there were big questions as to their improvement over the previously dominant Evolution 3 Lancers.
Knowing the Japanese, they never come out with something that's slower than the previous years. So we can only imagine that the Evo 4 is going to be a little bit better than what our car currently is.
So how are you going to compete against that?
We're going to have to go harder. We're going to have to drive harder, brake later, turn in later and deeper, and just get ourselves absolutely committed to try and stay in touch with them.
Aucklander Todd Bowden was one of the first to build an Evo 4, and he comes to Gisborne having spent a day's testing at Marlborough Forest.
Very easy to drive, very forgiving car, and it was certainly didn't oversteer like the other car was. You know, the rear end, it was certainly an easier car to drive, and it was, you know, we did 140 k's in one day and had no problems at all, really. You know, wore one set of tyres right down to nothing, and it was great.
Brian Green has also tested his Group A version of the Evo 4.
Well, the car is a lot lower geared, feels a lot more powerful, but the proof will be in the pudding tomorrow. But it seems to have a lot more traction and sits on the road a lot better, and hopefully the odd fault the Evolution 3 had, they'll have corrected in the Evolution 4.
Well, obviously the old car had done a lot of years, and we had to update at some stage, and we've only done a little bit of testing in this car so far. We've only done about 30-40k in it, but it's looking very promising. The Mitsubishi is just so much more drivable and so much more predictable.
In fact, the Manawa 2 man, Jeff Argyle, was straight onto the pace, winning stage 1 by 11 seconds. Rhys Jones was back in his Evo 3 and off the pace after the summer break. But Marty Rostenberg, who won the New Zealand Hill Climb and Autocross Championships during the summer, was now using that experience to his advantage.
We took nearly 30 seconds out of Jones, so we're pretty pleased about that, and hopefully if we can do that all day, then we'll be in good position for Group N.
That hasn't happened for a long time.
It hasn't happened for a long time, so we're really pleased. Obviously the old fella's taking it a little bit easy to start off with, but that's 30 seconds he's got to try and get back off us now.
Argyle's pace had come at a cost with early teething problems for the Evo 4.
It looks like problems a bit more than you thought. Yeah, it could be a little bit, but we'll see what we can sort out.
Fans not working? Or?
No, the cooling fans hasn't come on. So we'll see what happens.
Andrew Hawkswood, competing for the Street Skills Scholarship to the Rally of New Zealand, had a Sonic Evo 3 up to 3rd place. But early problems for a past scholarship winner. Stumpy Holmes in the Subaru Impreza was the first to go off the road.
Yeah, we come into the corner, I set it up and it just went straight ahead on me and we went into a fence and nearly ran over a photographer, sorry. But everything's all right, we backed out of it and carried on, so we're about 20 seconds we think we may have lost in there, but that's, part of it.
1997 sees the debut of an exciting new class for Suzuki Balenos.
These cars are relatively inexpensive at entry level and a lot of fun to rally without that ongoing expensive maintenance. This car's now done 30,000 Ks and had no significant spannering at all. It's been rallied and raced and targeted and used to death, and it loves it. And I'm sure, although the capital expense of these cars is not outrageous to start with, there's nothing more to spend on them after that, and that's really what the message we're trying to get across. Is it's entry-level rallying, turnkey, and away you go and enjoy it.
Along with Grant Aitken, Sam Murray was trying out the class in a lease car, while Paul Fredrickson has made a full season commitment in his Datacom car. Stage 2, and Argyle has cooled his engine and once again wins the stage. He now leads by 27 seconds.
How's it, Jeff?
Yeah, not too bad. It's just holding the same oil pressure as what I did this morning, so we'll just drive it on until something happens.
Todd Bowden's Group N Evo 4 takes second fastest time here. But he's still 4th overall behind Hawkswood, who equals his time in the stage, but the strain is showing on the older car.
She's overheating like hell, so we have to keep turning the anti-lag off. You can do about 5 Ks with the anti-lag on and it comes right up to 220, so we've got to button off. We have to keep that buttoning off, so it'd be good to do a full stage without having to back off.
Yeah, you got another stage before service, so you think you make it through?
Oh, yeah, it's just getting really hot.
Rhys Jones punctures near the stage end, but still manages 4th fastest time. While Rostenberg is settling into a groove, and although he's 27 seconds down on Argyle, he leads Group N by 22 seconds. Barry Sexton returns to rallying with his Group A Subaru Impreza. He's the leading Subaru driver back in 6th overall. Craig Marshall is driving for Rally Art New Zealand, the young Aucklander promising to finish more rallies in 1997, but already in contact with the scenery.
Bit of damage, Craig?
Yeah, I saw something fly up in the middle of the stage. I wondered what it was, but I knew it wasn't big damage, just bumper or shrouding or something.
Well, that's better than teammate Andrew Keeley out and over a bank at the stage end. Stage 3, and Jones is trying to peg back time, but thick road gravel is slowing the top cars. Marty Rostenberg is next through. He's got past Jeff Argyle on the stage and is now in the lead. Argyle is next, limping through with a sick motor and heading for retirement. Ross Meekings has been struggling in his old Toyota Celica to match the top cars. He's 8th overall, but was making up time on stage 3 until this happened.
All right, Roscoe, get him out of there. Get him out of there, won't we?
It's a fairly wild ride, Dave. Tell you.
No, we were very lucky actually that we went off backwards and managed to land in a paddock still downhill. Very lucky it didn't actually go side barrel roll down the hill. We just had the right angle on, and there was a wee bit of a track down the bottom that we managed to negotiate down the hill without falling over, and got to the track and out through the gate at the other end. But I think we lost sort of almost 2 minutes really.
And how's this for a classic? Here's how a four-wheel drive rally car ends up as a farm vehicle. Now Subaru driver Stumpy Holmes is also trying to push his Impreza up the leaderboard. The fast open stages have not suited his Pirelli tyres, which are too hard for the conditions. Barry Sexton was the leading Subaru driver, but Will Orr puts in a blinding drive to win the stage and moved into second overall. Not so lucky is Paddy Davidson. His new Impreza has got suspension problems. It's just far too stiff and bouncing all over the road. And Davidson withdraws here rather than risk crashing the car. Andrew Hawkswood had nearly caught Davidson when he spun in the dust, losing 40 seconds and heading for retirement. A stone lodged in the cam belts and they failed as he left the stage. Peter Day was having a frustrating day with a misfire which had plagued the car for 2 rallies. He would also retire with engine damage. You can see here how the clear road is helping number 13 Ross Thurston, now up to 3rd place after the other cars had done the vacuum cleaning. It's the same for Lewis Scott, as the front cars have left a smooth path, allowing these cars to really fly. Chris Ramsey is the first car through in the Street Skills Scholarship. His Evo 3 is running fiberglass body parts though, so is not eligible for the New Zealand Championship. But fastest on this stage is Brian Green in his Evo 4. He's now 4th overall, leading Group A in the championship. Mark Hodgson rounds out the top 10, having passed both Bowdett and Marshall, who both crashed out of the stage. And at the service, Rhys Jones is wondering how to counter Rostenberg's surprising pace.
But not the one just gone, the previous one he took 14 out of us. And we were trying pretty hard.
Yeah. Hasn't happened before, has it?
No, I don't like it.
But Rostenberg is on a run and feeling confident at the stage.
The car's going well. Just tried some Bridgestones, and certainly on the hard packed roads they seem to really hang on well.
Tyres were critical then?
Yeah, very much so, particularly when you're running at the front of the field where you've got lots of stones and things, so you've got to try and pick a line through the corners where there's less gravel and less stones and try and get down onto the hard stuff. Certainly that's where the Bridgestones seem to be working really good.
Those tyres were giving Marty the confidence to attack the roads as the cars went into the infamous 36-kilometre Whakarau stage. Will Orr was now the leading Subaru driver. He really dug deep and had pulled up within 20 seconds of Rostenberg. But Thurston lost time, dropping to 6th. Chris Ramsey was the man on the move, up to 3rd and just 3 seconds behind Orr. Green was a further 32 seconds back, with Lewis Scott putting up a great performance in his Evolution 1 Lancer. Unfortunately, he would retire with a broken wheel later in the day. Dave Strong had the Formula 2 Daihatsu up into 14th overall, and Grant Aitken was nearly 2 minutes clear of his rivals in the Bolano Cup. He was now up to 23rd overall and 2nd in the Formula 2 class. Paul Fredrickson was the next Bolano on the road, easing himself into this new car, but still in a creditable 30th place. Sam Murray was now pushing harder after taking the morning stages to get used to the car. His times were now starting to match Aitken's times. But for Rhys Jones, Whakarau would be the end of a frustrating day as he crashed out in the battle against his mate, Marty Rostenberg.
Rhys was about a third of the way into the start of Whakarau, upside down in the middle of the road. Looks as though it was a real gentle rollover, but he was blocking the whole road. We had to go out
right round up the bank, and the only time I've been off the road all day was getting around Reese. But the car looks undamaged, and if they can get it up on their wheels, then I think they'll be away again.
How was Whakaara then?
Oh, Whakaara's a hard stage. It's always bloody demanding, and there was a lot of shingle there, and it was very, very slippery, and then it started pouring with rain for about the last third, but it was good fun.
The stage was won by Ramsey, with Willor second.
We took a bit off him in that last stage. We had a wrong tyre choice the last couple of stages, and we had windscreen wipers stopped working for about 5 minutes. And yeah, no, we're back on it. We're still not going to give up. We have a charge.
But Rostenberg charged back, winning the final 2 stages and taking his first win in a New Zealand Championship rally. Victory for the Evo 3 with the first of the Subarus home and second overall, Willor. And Chris Ramsey third, taking top points in the Street Skills Scholarship. Ross Thurston is the Street Skills Challenge winner on this rally. But Brian Green was the first championship car home in the Group A class and the first of the Evo 4s. Grant Aiken led home the Belenos in 28th place overall, second in the Formula 2 class.
Just the fact we've got 2 guys to race against all day, we don't really care about the rest of the field. If we're giving or taking a few seconds here or there, that's what it's all about. And we're just having a ball, having a damn good race amongst ourselves.
Second place in class, Sam Murray, who also collects a $1,000 prize cheque given to the top 3 Belenos in each rally.
I think I'd have done about 300k when we got on it this morning from you, and you don't have to do a thing on it, just change it. I mean, you don't even need to change the tyres, we just change them around to keep them fresh, and that was it.
Paul Fredrickson had run at the back of the group, which meant an occasional hurry-up from a more powerful car. In this case, it was Steve Bond's amazing V8 Hillman.
It's been pretty pressured having to run amongst all these fast guys and have to keep looking in your mirror and let them go past, but no, it's been great. So.
Well, you were the only person that's really taken the challenge and gone out and bought one of these cars, and you're pleased you've done it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Can't wait for Otago. So.
And you can watch out for the full report on the Otago Rally next week on 3 Motorsport. Updating the points in the Street Skills New Zealand Championship now. Overall, Marty Rostenberg shares the lead with John Silcock. Dave Owen and Brian Green are second equal. Dean Buist's amazing drive puts him third equal in his Corolla with the Toyota of Ross Meekings. Now it's your chance to phone and win in our competition. And don't forget, all calls go into the draw to win a sensational Suzuki Baleno GTX at the end of the year. So good luck and good skill.